Something wrong with you, Collins.
All right, we are live. We're gonna take a moment. I'm gonna have the people talk amongst themselves while I go ahead and send this link out to a few people, and let's get this thing started. So,
hey, everybody out there in YouTube land, make sure you understand one thing: that this man.
I don't trust him. I don't even trust him. I don't even trust him. I had to
Make
mute.
sure your hand, Jamari, is on the. Make sure your hand
My
is there,
hand is
bro.
on the mute button, so ready.
Right?
That's crazy. You did it at the right time too.
Dang, son.
You did it at the right time too. Oh man. Let me tell y'all something, man. All I gotta say is get Jay Samaj music on Instagram.
Oh my.
Follow me before I get muted. Follow me.
He's muted.
Oh my God. Shout out to my people in China. Thank you for liking everything Virgo.
All right, so all y'all gonna get muted right now except Tim because Tim ain't saying no crazy stuff.
I know my place.
Y'all just mute y'allself. They just all just. All right, so let me send out this link before I get distracted anymore. So y'all go ahead, talk about some of the preliminaries we about to get into. Oh, Dr. Farm.
How we gonna talk when you
Dr. Farm is in the comments.
Hey, how we gonna talk? You muted everybody.
Oh, y'all go, just keep it simple, man. Don't be doing stuff crazy. As you enter into the building, make sure you hit that like button. I need you to hit that like button. If I see you in the building, if I see people in the building and my likes ain't going up, I'm gonna mute everybody in the chat.
I don't like being muted. Please hit the like, subscribe. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. See, Tim, you know what, man? That's what I'm talking about. You know what? Can I mute people's video too? Let me see if I can mute Colin's video. Let me see. Nah, I can't do it. Let me see if I let me see. Okay, let me get this link out to a few people.
What is called?
I don't know what this man is doing. I don't know what this man is doing. Hang tight, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, let me go check these comments as people coming in the building. We got Dr. Farmer. Farmer, we're gonna need you in this building. You know we talking money, so you might as well go ahead and hit that damn that link. Princess says, congratulations, Ham. Listen, congratulations, me.
Oh, appreciate it.
Well, no, congratulations, me. I worked the deal, okay? I worked the deal. I made miracles happen here, all right?
Yeah, you did make that happen. I ain't gonna lie. You did make that happen, boy.
I had to not panic when moments required me to panic. You know what I'm saying? All right, let me send this. See what she's doing here. Paste that.
Did you mute me?
No, I didn't. Oh yeah, I did mute you. Cause you talking about
you've been muted. How you over here?
What was I talking about? All I said was.
Oh my god, why are you talking so loud? Why you muted?
Congratulations.
You muted. You muted.
Oh, thank you.
Talking too loud. Let's go.
I'm
sending this link. So y'all. Oh, let me get him out here too.
Yeah, he just closed on the condo too. Nothing too big, nothing too shabby.
Thank you, Princess. Thank you, Princess.
What city you in, big dog?
Cocoa.
Oh, man, what?
Yeah,
Cocoa, Florida.
We got a friend of ours, man. That's she's running the casino. She don't own a casino, but she's running the casino. Where about down there in Cocoa? I don't know, but I know it's in Cocoa. Just open.
Well, that's what's up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I say she don't own it, but she running it though. So.
That's true.
I was like, hey, cell phone, that's the reason for me to come to Cocoa now. Thank you in advance.
Hamilton, congrats on the condo.
Appreciate it, Dr. Farmer. Appreciate you. Gonna get another one in another year and a half.
This man, right, like a week or two before we close, he's like, can you price me up for another con? I'm like, bro, we ain't even closed on this one. You up here talking about
man got big dreams. I ain't mad at you. Dream big.
I ain't mad at him neither, but I was already in there. You know what I'm saying? Bro, how did I get into almost done, people? Almost done. I'm just trying to get the all right, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's get some links out. Collins is so silly. Collins, what were you doing?
Still muted.
What? What you talking about?
What were you doing? All right, we're gonna get Dr. Farmer in here later on. I know he's gonna pop his little head in here. Probably Andrew gonna pop his little head in here later. So let's get to it tonight. Glad to be back. Last week I was tired. I'm not gonna admit. I'm not gonna deny it. Thursday came around. I was tired. I was burnt out. But we are back again. We are back Tuesday night, 9:30 p.m. sharp, almost. Tonight we're going to be talking about group economics, unplugging from the grid, unplugging from the matrix. Like I said last week, we talked about last week. We talked about last week.
Man, alien? No. Yes, no.
Blood ties, families and blood ties.
Right. So we coming from the family reunion and everything, and we was up in Tennessee. We got to see a lot of different land. And so that gets your mind, buzzing about all the possibilities that we have access to here in the United States and abroad. There's a lot of different places that you can build communities and things of that nature. So let's talk about group economics, unplugging from the grid, unplugging from the matrix. And let's start out. Let me introduce everybody. We got the relationship guru. We got Hamilton. We got Bo. We got Tim. We got everybody in the building. All right. And I'm just going to go around. I'm going to keep it simple and let it branch out. So when I say group economics, what do you think of when I say that term? Hamilton.
Community. I guess financial community. Group economics. Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's all you got, Tim.
You can't get me first, man. You can never get me first.
I forget that we can't start with Hamilton. We can't start with Hamilton.
We're talking about money staying in a group of people for a period of time before that money leaves that group of community.
Collins, talk to me. You're muted, my guy. Unmute. And he's just looking up into the stars.
Yeah, so I think because that's where my downloads be coming from. They come from up there, you know what I'm saying? So I think that group economics is basically when more than one person can gather and they start to do things with their money and their resources, and their energy and their time for the betterment of a larger, self than themselves. So it could be friends, it could be their family, it could be their entire community, their people, their nation, that's what it's the betterment of using each individual's resources for the betterment of the majority.
Bo.
I think of things like Aztecs, large group of people who, economy wise prospered for a long period of time. Like the Aztecs and Egyptians and people of that period. Everything else was taken. So
the girl went to the Aztecs, ladies and gentlemen. Give her 5 points for saying Aztecs. It's one of those words that say, hey, figure out if you can say the word Aztecs in the next 30 minutes. And she found a way to say Aztecs. All right. So I'm going to let Colin start it off with the conversation that we were having in the WhatsApp. Go ahead, Colin, start it off, and we're gonna springboard from there. This guy here.
I'm trying to be able to be in the chat and do everything, but as you can hear, I can't turn this down. The sound is not even turning down. So that's what's happening.
Oh my God, Becky.
So are you gonna start the combo? What you got going on?
I'm on YouTube on this dang iPad, and the iPad will not turn down, bro. So I'm trying to be able to be multitask so I can help in the production and run the dang. What do you call it?
Just get to the conversation.
So
hear all what you're doing.
What we're talking about is the idea for this conversation was sparked because I saw a video and it was talking about how there's 13 families that run the whole world, and they run anything, Disney, Viacom, whatever. So all the media that we got, all of the entertainment that we have, all the businesses, the food, all the stuff like that is all being run by this this group of 13 families, and they run the world, right? They run all the news, they run all the media outlets and all the stuff like that. So, and the governments and all that stuff. And so it brings up the idea, if these people are running the world and we don't like it, like what can we do as individuals? Because there's this whole pyramid of like they're at the top, these 1% of people, but they own more wealth than all of the people that's underneath combined. So if you're an individual, that's part of that bottom rung where all of the rest of the people are, right? How can we, as the majority, or even as individuals, how can we start to unplug from that pyramid, at least somewhat, to the point where we can be more focused on what's better for us and our lives and our family and things like that? Because they don't necessarily have our best heart; they have their own best heart, and we're nothing to them. So how can we start to live a better life? Because living for them ain't gonna really work, because they're not. That works when the other person, when you're living for somebody, if they're also living for you. If you are committed to somebody, they're also committed to you. That's the way that relationship works. And they're not necessarily really us, because they committed to their money, they committed to their power, they're committed to their bottom line, and and that usually costs us more than it benefits us, right? As workers, as the quote unquote masses. So that's the hey, what's up, C Rider? So that's basically what we're gonna be talking about today. Like how can we start to actually start living our individual lives better? Because if we keep on working for the man and working for the money and doing all this stuff and doing it as individuals, we don't really we're not powerful. We're not part of that 13 families. We're not part of big.
And so it brings me to a video that I did, I think it was an IG reel or something that I did talking about bosses, right? And one of the problems, and we're gonna present the problem, then we're actually gonna give you the solution. One of the problems is that so many people, instead of coming together to build a powerful group, right? And I tell people all the time, if you look at some of the most prolific companies in the United States and around the world, they're not started off by one person. Yeah, you see the CEO, but the company itself is started with 2 or 3 people, 4 people, 5 people, and they begin to grow. And the conversation that me and Collins was having, because Collins thinks everything is evil. I was simply telling him like this, like, the reason why these companies, and you can't blame these companies for becoming so big, because in a sense, we allow them to become as big as they are, right? If you look at where Amazon started, right, selling books, now they're one of the most powerful companies in the world. They got rid of Toys R Us, and Toys R Us was you outsourcing them to ship their products. Now what happened to Toys R Us?
It's gone.
Right? And so we allow these companies to get as big as they are because we support these companies, right? Yep. They give us what we want. Amazon found a way to give us what we want right away, right? Amazon Prime, 2-day shipping, 1-day shipping. Now you're like, you know what? Instead of going to the store to buy this thing, I'm going to get it off of Amazon. You're not really thinking that every time you buy from Amazon, you're taking away from a local store that's in your neighborhood, right? So we allow these companies to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And when these companies pull out of the neighborhood, if you don't have any Amazon infrastructure. Like we got Amazon coming up in different cities and things of that nature. But if you don't have an actual Amazon company in your neighborhood, then guess what? Those dollars that you buy on Amazon does not get cycled back into your community. You know what I'm saying? They're not providing any jobs in your community, right? So anytime you buy something off Amazon, it goes into another community, it goes somewhere else. So how do we begin to form communities within the macro community, right? So if you're in the state of Florida and then you're in Tampa or you're in Fort Lauderdale, Sunrise, how do you begin to build your own community within those communities?
I would say actually get to building the community, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we got to start shifting the way we spend our money. Right? If we use that our buying power first as an individual, then we build communities that are.
Hold on, Colin. Is Collins breaking up to y'all, or is that just me?
It's like cutting out a little bit.
Huh?
Yeah, you cutting in and off.
I think it's something probably with his audio because I can see him moving, but it's cutting out.
Check 1, check 2, check 3. Is it better now? I'm bringing it in closer.
You're good now.
No, it just be like the. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm still good now, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, what I was saying is, even before we get to the part of like when we build in the communities, like what individuals do we want in these communities and what can we do as an individual? I think we should start looking first at how we spend, like as an individual, like change the way that you use your resources, which is your money and your time and your energy and your focus and your intention and things like that. If we do that as an individual, then we can add to and attract others to us of that same frequency, that same vibe, or we can lead others in that same way. So even before we thinking about, oh, well, there's 15 other people, how am I get 20 other people, or how am I get 30 other people, or how am I even go get 5 other people that's going to be on the same vibe? First, you get on that vibe, which is, change the way, like we spend a lot of money, especially with Amazon, right? Or Walmart or things like that. Like how we're giving our money to these companies. What people don't realize a lot is that you might do it for convenience, but in reality, you spend more on a product in Amazon sometimes than you would if you just went to the store that's in your community. So you're actually spending more money for that convenience where you could still use that same money or those savings and better your life as individuals and start spending less money. Like start spending money and then using the money for things that you really want to do, because then you'll have the resources that you have within the current establishment in the economy that we're in now. You can start working the money that you already have as opposed to thinking about other imaginary money that might come from the community later. So I think that'll be the first step, is start shifting the way, like go to, Bomika's thing with everything frugal, start shifting the way that you spend your daily dollar. Because regardless of what they might tell you, even though we don't have the quote unquote power, as in like we don't run the governments, like we are the people, and the people actually are we're the ones that are spending the money. We're the ones that are we're the resource. So if we all get together as individuals, not just as a community, but as individuals, shifting the way that we're looking at our bread and our time, like really value your own time. Start valuing your own time more than anything. Because our money to our not time to corporate stuff like that, but then they're not really taking care of us.
Bo, and then Tim.
I would say the first step to building an economic community is teaching and educating your community. How many people live in communities don't even know their neighbors? You know what I'm saying? You walk by, you see them every day, but you don't know them by name or anything like that. So first you have to build a community. And the next thing you need to do is educate the community. There's a lady out of Atlanta, Georgia, that started with a community garden, right? She started learning to garden herself. She taught herself how to garden everything. Then she got an acre land that wasn't used in her neighborhood. She got the city or whatever to allow her to buy it. She took that acre and she built a community garden. Now it started with just her and a couple other people. Now everybody in the neighborhood helps helps with this garden, and everybody gets to benefit from that garden. But it started with her first educating herself, and then by educating herself she was able to educate other people, and now she actually has a business where she goes and teach people how to do gardens in their backyard. I mean, they do landscape, they do everything. She actually has a TV show. I think it's on Paramount. If I'm not mistaken, I can double check on that. But education is number one, is key. And two, you hit I hate to use this cliche, but it's more like monkey see, monkey do, because you can tell people in your community, hey, let's do this, and some will jump on, and say, oh yeah, we can benefit this, and some will be like, oh, I ain't got time for this or whatever. But once they see people benefit from it, then they'll jump on it. You get what I'm saying? So I definitely think it starts with education.
Good job. Roxanne says it's on Discover Plus. So
Okay,
you can
Discovery
find,
Plus. I have.
you can find the name of that show, so everybody can go ahead and check that out. See what you're talking about. Tim, go ahead.
Yes, I will.
Uh, Collins hit on it. He touched it, but I think that's thing one when he's talking about convenience. We as humans been over here have been trained and conditioned for convenience. Yeah, I see it on the road all the time, man. You go into a store like a Pilot or a truck stop, whatever. You have a whole bar of soap there that's going to be priced double or sometimes triple than going to somewhere else. But hey, it's convenient because it's right there. So I'll go ahead and
Mhm.
spend the money because it's right there. Then go to whoever shop who may have that soap or food part thing or whatever. I mean, convenience is thing one. That's how, in my opinion, Amazon got big. Why go to a store if I could shop at home? I'm saying, why
Mhm.
go do this if I could do that? Why go, like, we don't got to the point where we don't want to go. We go to the store, don't want to get out the daggone store to go inside to buy the groceries, bro. You got a whole parking like pickup thing right there. We are paying somebody to go pick up the groceries that we just bought. Like, I mean, so hey, that's thing one. That's thing one. In order to build a group economics, man, I think the first thing is we have to get rid of the idea of convenience. The second thing I would add to that is jealousy. You have to read jealousy because somebody gonna come up
Mm.
whether we cutting hair, because I seen the cutting hair. Oh man, so and so don't got that. He don't cut. He started off in his house. He don't bought a shop, and now he got a Mercedes. My $5, $10 haircut is paying for his Mercedes. He ain't getting Mercedes off my hair no more. Like, dude,
Wow.
yeah, I
That's
seen that,
fact.
bro. I don't seen that. I seen that with people cut grass. I don't seen that with a dude. In one of the cities I was living in, man, had a painting company, was doing pretty good with his painting company, and bought a truck, and everybody got jealous of the dude truck. Like, yo, oh man, he painted my house. My house bought that truck. Yeah. So that's the second thing I think is that the envy has to leave because money's going to bounce around if you do group economics correctly. So let's say I'm a plumber by trade, and anybody in the community needs a plumber, then I'm the first one called because I got a relationship in there. All right, now that I'm getting a little bit bigger, now I can hire some people to also run this plumbing thing for me. All right, if I got this plumber, I'm gonna need a place. I need a store to go buy this equipment from, a warehouse or something. And that's where you come in, Collins. You got the warehouse to sell the plumbing goods, and you might be too big for. You might be getting big enough for plumbing. Now you got to open up a second store to sell something else at that store. Now you got to hire
Mhm.
more people, but people don't see it that way. They just like, oh man, Collins coming up now. Oh man, Collins
Yeah.
don't hire like 4 people. Oh, he got 2 stores. My money going into that. I'm not finna sit around and boost his house up because he don't add a whole nother room to his house. Or
And so
going to help.
And so
So
do
that
you think it's because that you can actually like so when people shop at Walmart, and Hams, we're gonna get to you in 1 second. So when people shop at Walmart, they can't see the Walmart family. They don't see the Walmart family living in the neighborhood.
they
So
know it, but like you said, they don't see it. It's not in
they
their
don't
face.
see it. They don't
It's
see it.
not in their face. And you like name Walmart. That's the two things with it. Walmart's convenient. And Walmart's popping up everywhere, but ain't nobody really hating on it except for the folks that's locally getting affected by it. Like, hey, I got this store here and I can't do nothing with this store because Walmart coming in and doing this, which I understand that. So I try my best in a little small town and may go buy something out somebody's small town, whether it be a restaurant or whether it be like a locally owned hardware store. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? if I need something, I try to go to those people first because of that. It's just the fact that we got to get convenience up out of mind, and then we got to get jealousy up out of mind. And I think we can build from there.
Boom. He said convenience and jealousy, two things.
Facts.
Hamilton,
Yeah.
break it down. Break it
I
down.
think shopping local is definite. Definitely controlling our money, like Collins was saying. But also investments, man. And we got to start investing because you got look at these companies like you were mentioning the 13 Bloodlines. Look at BlackRock. BlackRock has their hand in everything. Like, and even before I heard anybody talking about it, I was driving down my road one day, and on the right was a house for sale. It had a big BlackRock sign on it. I'm like, the heck? And then 2 doors down, it had another BlackRock sign. I was like, who are BlackRock? And then I'm looking at BlackRock. They own everything. Everything. They have their hands in everything. So we got to start investing. Like, we don't invest in property, and especially like this times, like when they say recession hits, we lose all our money. Your money goes to gas and food, and you have nothing left to invest in, while they can reap the benefits of all the low prices that's going on in the stock market and the crypto market.
Hammer. So I ask you, do you think it's a problem with people not only not investing, but not group investing?
Oh, that's a must. Group invest. They don't be investing by themselves. It's like a group of them always investing or borrowing from somebody, and like we don't do that at all. That's why we're lacking now. I mean, but back in the day, you had them cities. What's the one city?
Rosewood.
Tulsa,
Rosewood, yeah.
Tulsa,
Yeah,
Oklahoma.
Tulsa.
yeah.
Black Wall Street. Yeah, cities
Greenwood,
like that.
that was Greenwood, Oklahoma. Rosewood, Florida.
Rosewood, Florida. Mm-hmm.
They used to flourish, man. We lost that somewhere.
But I think that one of the and I'm gonna let Kate go next, and then we'll hit some of these comments up. But I think one of the reasons why is because one, I'm glad we're going to Kavon too, because it's the simple things that build communities, right? So how many people do you personally know that says, "Hey, man, I want to start a grocery store," versus the people you know that want to do something on a bigger scale? You know what I'm saying? Or how many people do you know say that, hey, let's invest in a movie theater. Let's put a movie theater in our neighborhood. Let's put a grocery store in our neighborhood. Let's get together and create a bank or a credit union, right? You don't have a lot of people thinking on that level because they don't think it's going to bring them the amount of money that they want. So they want.
I will argue that will go into the thing 3. I didn't even think about this till you said it. Responsibility. Because we are because we don't got conveniently comfortable, and there's some jealousy. So now that if I open up a store, open up whatever, now I'm responsible for that. Yeah, now I don't want that responsibility if this goes left or this goes right, or I already got something on my mind or whatever that I'm trying to do that's going to take away from it. So I think that's thing 3. The funds that you're talking about, I don't know if that's a big part of it. If it is a part of the equation, I would say 30%. I would say 70% would be responsibility. That's just my view of it, though.
Okay. Dr. Pierre, but we can come back. Dr. Pierre.
Oh, you guys gonna have to give me like 10 minutes. I got a lot to say on this topic.
If your ass start going 10 minutes, you will be muted.
I got a lot to say on this topic. So while you guys are talking, there's this book I want everybody on the panel or who is tuning in to read. It's called Tax-Free Wealth. Jamar, you know who that author is?
No, sir.
That's the accountant for the guy Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's Rich Dad's. That's Robert Kiyosaki's accountant. He wrote this book. It's called Tax-Free Wealth. It's only a couple of bucks. Go buy it. It'll help you and your children understand how you can literally gift your kids, or if you have a company, have your kids do little things and pay them $12,000 a year. Right?
What was the author?
It's called Tax-Free Wealth on Amazon. It's written by the
I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, No, I'm not. I read it but it has so much good information in there that will help you, and if you have your kids, give them a brighter future. And it'll teach you how to we call it again, reduce your tax burden. So we're talking about group economics tonight, right? So I'll tell you guys a little story about probably about 8 years ago. I was looking to put a pharmacy in a town in South Georgia called Valdosta, right? I talked to one of the technicians down in that area, and I said to her, I said, I'm thinking about putting a pharmacy down here. What do you think? She said to me, because she was a technician down there. She said, let me tell you something. She's a sister. She said, if you put a store down here, not one person that look like you gonna come and buy from you.
Facts. I know exactly what you're talking about, bro. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
And when she said that, I said to her, I said, well, this doesn't make any sense, right? Because my son's occupational therapist is Jewish. When money enters the Jewish community, they're going to find a Jewish person. They'll eventually hire somebody else to do it, but they first look for a Jewish organization to try to give that job first, so that money stays within the community. Okay, with I guess with black people, or even minorities or individuals of low income, they'll go spend their money somewhere else, right? I was looking around the other day and I said to myself, I said, but wait a minute, what happened to the days when I remember living in South Florida, you could go, at midnight and find a labaquita. Anybody know what a labaquita is? It's those little grocery stores, right? It's a drive-through grocery store, right? You leave Miami, you can't find that anywhere, right? Everything is Publix, Winn-Dixie, Kroger's, right? These big companies have ate up and removed all the small grocery stores. Now, answer this for me. If you don't have money to pay for your groceries one day, will that grocery store, that big chain, allow you to take that grocery on credit? Like the small grocery stores that would know you back in the day would do? No. So while as a community, as people in general, just people are spending money with the big corporation, we're losing small America. We're losing America that was based on small businesses. For me, being a small business owner, let me tell you how I get majority of my customers: by the things that the big chains won't do. A lot of my customers that I see, they don't find me until the big chain tells them no. One guy called me. He said, I called Walgreens and I said I needed some medication for a cat. If I'm telling he said the word cat, we don't do that here, sir. And he hung up. Not knowing that the cat med is the same med that a human being takes. They just didn't want to deal with it. So now imagine if I didn't have a small store, how he would have gone about finding his cat med, right? So I think as a people, and maybe the next generation of politicians will push this, we have to get back to, small businesses. If we have that as a movement, you will see more individuals starting small businesses, right? It's just interesting. But on another note, I want you guys to look up the new Black Wall Street. It's in Atlanta, right? Some investors, right, got together and they bought out an abandoned mall.
A mall, yeah.
Yeah. And look it up. It's real cool. And in order to get in there, you have to be a minority-owned business, or they're not letting you in. You could forget it, right? And it's booming because, this reminds us of what Tulsa, Oklahoma was, right? But it's different now because you're in a city where there's a lot more protection, right? So I wouldn't say that group economics is totally dead, right? It's reviving. I can see it. Being out there every day, I can see it. I can see where people walk in and there's a sense of pride, a sense of joy to see a small business owner, right? So if anyone is interested in starting a small business, right? And I'm talking about they say a brick and mortar store is dead. Not necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people need things the same day, right? And if they know you have it, they will come to you. It's hard at first. Trust me. There were days I was like, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
But slowly but surely you see it start picking up. And you could see the look on people's face when they find you and they're like, wait a minute, you own this? It's almost as though it gives them joy, it gives them pride. Like, wow, if he can do it, maybe I can do it too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? It's rough. Trust
So
me.
what would you say would be one of your, because Tim gave us 3 key points, right? Tim gave us envy, right? What else, Tim? What else you gave us?
Envy,
Responsibility.
responsibility,
Uh-huh.
and what's that last one I gave, man? Envy,
Last-
responsibility. Shucks, bro.
Man, so you got
My mind is went blank. Envy, responsibility.
Got to go back and watch.
Give him a second to pick it up.
Yeah, we got to give you a second. And just for that,
Yeah, y'all go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna try to figure this
you
out.
get your first mute, Tim. Just for that, you get your first mute. Go ahead. So, how would you say, because you got a pharmacy, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would you do if you could start building a community around your pharmacy? What would you say would be some of the first steps that you would like to put into place and implement to start getting your own group economics in the neighborhood area that you're in? And when we say group economics, I'm not just talking about one, culture or anything like that, but when you build a community where everybody's benefiting from each other.
Right. First thing you need to find out is what the community needs.
Mm.
It makes no sense putting a tire shop in the community, or it makes no sense putting a gas station in the community if everybody's driving electric, right? So we need to find out what are the needs of the community. Okay, I'll give you guys an example. You talk about building a small community. A young guy, him and his wife started a tutoring center right next to my pharmacy, like a couple doors down, and it is booming because they realized during the pandemic, kids were lacking that help in math and English. So it's booming right now. So we need to find out what the community needs, 1. 2, we need to find out whether or not the services that are going to be offered is even affordable for the community. If you put something in the community that the community needs, but they can't afford it, they won't come. Right? So you need to find out what the annual household income, the average household income of that community is, and then start seeing how you could price your goods or your services to meet that. Right? There's a reason why there's a McDonald's in every corner in the hood and not a 5-star restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Because the people, if you were to put the 5-star restaurant there,
go.
Some people might find a way to afford it, but most people won't. Right?
It's not in demand.
Yeah. And then you need to find a way, I believe, to motivate people to support it. Okay? Because you could have it, it could be affordable, but at the same time, they might say, you know what? I'm accustomed shopping down there. I'm not coming. Right? So find a way to let people know, hey, we're here for the community. We're giving back to the community. Right? We are going to sponsor sporting events. Right? We'll sponsor books for kids to go back to school. So let them know that you're giving back, because a lot of the big corporations, they say they give back, but do you really see it? Right? So the community, the shops, the services have to be able to take care of the community like the community takes care of them. You just can't take away and not give back. For instance, in my store, antibiotics are $5 for kids. $5. And that's all of them across the board. Some of them cost me more than $5 to purchase, right? But it gives the adults options for their kids, right? Wintertime comes, kid catches a little cold. Guess what? I can go down there, buy 5 RX and get me some azithromycin, as long as I have a script from my doctor, right? I don't have to worry about breaking the bank because he's selling antibiotics for $5. The same $5 antibiotics for my kid is going to cost $60 at Walgreens and CVS. you know. So
Mm-hmm.
we need to find a way to stimulate people. Have to be motivated to come there. What do you have? What are you giving me for what I'm giving you? All right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with these things in place, we can build stronger communities. You know. Lastly, let me say this: what we have to offer to one another in these communities, right? It has to be almost as good or better than what they can get outside. I'll give you an example. When I started my store, it was a shell, right? I hired a contractor, general contractor, right? Small business instead of going to the big guys, right? And give him the job. He came, he looked at the plans, he said, yeah, we could do it for this, and we'll get it going. This guy was literally doing my job and another job at the same time. So guess whose job got put on the back burner? Mine. And again, small business, minority owned, the gentleman with the contracting firm, right? But yet still I got screwed over because I was trying to keep the money in the community. We cannot have that. From the time we catch businesses moving in that direction, there needs to be a way to more or less punish or hold accountable those that are messing it up for others. If we can't hold those people accountable, then guess what? We will start right back from square one. Because people are going to say, well, you know what? At one point, I was almost like, the next time around, and there will be a next time, I'm not hiring a minority contractor.
Mm-hmm. Now,
you know? But along the way, I found people that were like, can you hear me? I found people that said, you know what? That guy messed up. Let me come and fix it for you. Right? So we have good in our communities, just deciphering those that are really good and that are there to help us and that are there to grow the group economics, and those that they're not about the business.
and you are absolutely right. You went about 10 minutes and you are now muted. Thanks for all your input. Nah, that was some good stuff. Go ahead, Bo. I know. And so, Bo, that's what I put that up there. Roxanne Harley said, I believe also in building sustainable practices. And so Bo has a large group on Facebook called Everything Frugal. And I think, I know that's where it begins to start building sustainable practices. And it also leads into what Hamilton was saying is that, investing. And the only way a lot of people will be able to invest is starting to figure out ways to save money if they're not making Dr. Pierre type cash. I'm sorry.
Right.
Go ahead, Bo.
Well, first, before I say something to that, what I was gonna say, the show it's on Discovery Plus. It's on the Magnolia Network, and it's called Homegrown. And she's an African American woman out of Atlanta, so please check her out. The other thing I was gonna say, the third thing that Tim said that he can't remember, I think his name is Tim. So the third thing that he said that he couldn't remember was accessibility. He said that we needed to things were so accessible and that
Convenience. Yeah.
convenience, accessibility. I was trying to help you out.
Thank you.
There you go.
You're welcome. So yes, definitely need to learn to have a more sustainable life. So this is what I'm saying. I do on Everything Frugal on the Facebook group. Right now we in hyper inflation, and the biggest thing that people are combating is food prices. And I had made a post and I had said everybody's not affected by inflation, especially with food. And people were like, what do you mean? I'm like, everybody's not affected. Those who start stockpiling before hyperinflation, they're not affected because they stockpiled. So they're eating off stuff that they've stockpiled maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, to where now the prices are up, but they don't have to go to the grocery store because they have a nice stockpile. Stockpiling is a tool that you can utilize. People that are gardening, if you've been gardening and you've done this regularly for years, and every season you start gardening, you have that prepared, 9 times out of 10, you have stuff that's stored from the previous years. So now when it comes to produce and all that going up, you're not affected because you already have that, and you're growing your own, so you don't have to worry about that. So there are tools that you can use to not only save you money, but to help you, live a more sustainable life where you do not have to worry about big companies like Walmart and all that. You don't have to worry about that because you already have what you need, already on hand. Um, Another point I wanted to make, I watched different things. I was watching a documentary, I think it was on PBS, about a black family in Georgia who were farmers. And the girl that was documenting was actually her uncle's farm. Her uncle had died and his wife was like over the farm, and they were saying that once the last one of their generation dies, the farm would be no more. They probably had to sell it or whatever. And the reason being is because as Tim said about responsibility, the new generation doesn't want the responsibility of the farm. They want to live in the city. They want to do that. They want to do that. They don't want to take care of the farm. So a lot of the communities that we have are dying because the next generation doesn't want the responsibility. They don't want to be farmers. And I think through history, that's why we've lost a lot. One reason, not the main reason. There's other reasons too. But one reason is, you have, children that grow up and don't want to be farmers. So what happens to the farm? Well, you got a big corporation that wants that farm. They're gonna pay you. The kids will take the money, and now the farm is gone. Now you don't have that, and you don't have that land anymore. I also, another thing is, there's a female, I really don't want to give her attention, but there's a female on TLC Lifetime, and she's all about being rich, living in gated communities, spending all these cards and stuff like that. Like, we definitely have to change our mindset. I would never, one thing I ever tell anybody is I would never live in a gated community. That makes no sense to me. I'd rather have the land. And I think we need to change our mindset. Land, you can get more out of land than you can a house in a gated. First of all, a house in a gated community is never going to be yours.
I will gate my land up though.
Right. But you can do, if you have land, what people fail to realize, if you have land, if you got acreage, you'll never be homeless. You can build a house, you can put a trailer on there, you can do whatever you want. You can put a barn. People are building barns, taking old barns, remaking them into houses because it's cheaper and it's more sustainable.
That goes back into sustainable practices. And when you're talking about people, straying away from their farm, one of the things that I think we talked a little bit about that last week, is about kids breaking out of tradition. But one thing that, even if they break out of tradition, if you teach them the skills, so the kids still don't want to be a farmer, at least he still has the skills. So when he grows up and he leaves, he can still go back to farming or some type of sustainability when it comes to like gardening and farming. And Collins has a bunch of chicken. He got a chicken coop. I don't know how many chickens he got right now, but he got a chicken coop, right? I want a chicken coop. I just ain't got that much. I got a pool back there, and I don't think the chicken's gonna be, I don't want to have a whole bunch of chicken crap all over the place. But we need to start teaching. When we're talking about building a community, we need to start teaching those sustainable practices, gardening, simple things like gardening. This is one of the reasons why when we went to Tennessee, I made sure I stole some strawberries. Why? Because I buy strawberries all the damn time. I buy strawberries every week, and that crap adds up. I buy blueberries every week. When you buy blueberries that are out of season, that crap adds up. So I'm like, you know what? I need to grow my blueberries. I can't be paying $5.99 for a little 10 blueberries I throw in my oatmeal. That adds up. I don't care how much money you got. I ain't trying to have all my money going to blueberries and strawberries, right? So even if you do that, even if you say, I'm gonna have a garden and I'm just gonna grow one thing that I typically buy a lot of, right? Because a lot of the times when I was trying to grow strawberries, they were telling don't get the seeds from the store because you don't know what type of strawberries they are. So a lot of food we're eating, we don't know where they're coming from. We don't know what type of pesticides they use on it. We don't know none of that stuff, right? And I do want to give hold on, let me look at the comments. I agree with Bo. My grandfather built. Roxanne Harley's in the comments. I want everybody to know that I'm a better gardener than Roxanne Harley. I am a better gardener than Roxanne. Let everybody know. But that's one of the ways that you can start building those communities by giving your family, your friends. You know, once you start doing a garden, they start seeing you with your bell peppers. They're like, dang, you can grow your own bell peppers. Hamilton, what you got?
Right. It's the copycat.
Mm-hmm. And then Collins, we got you, Collins. Collins, stop chewing so hard, man. Go ahead, Colin, Hamilton.
Somebody mentioned something about saving. I think it was you, Jamari.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, you already talked about cut and turn. I mean, you said it in a way to garden. Garden is a way to save money.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you know, cutting out little things that you know, vices for you. Like, for me, like soda. Like, you cut those things out, you don't know how much money you got. Cigarettes. Some of y'all got a bad addiction to cigarettes. That's a huge expense. Huge. I don't even know how y'all paying for cigarettes. Y'all buy cigarettes before y'all buy food.
Hey, cigarettes is an expensive habit. That thing is, they tax the hell out.
It is. Absolutely. I agree.
They tax the hell out of cigarettes, boy.
Yeah, that's all though. Saving, man.
Well, I would say this again, and we'll go. We'll drop down to Dr. Pierre if he's not so long-winded. I'm messing, Dr. Pierre. That don't draw me out, Jim. Oh, I would say again, if we're going to talk about building sustainable communities and building using group economics, it has to begin at a micro level, right? And this is what me and Collins was talking about. It's a retreat that we're going to be doing later on this year. You have to start in the home. And I'm of a very strong belief that every kid that I have in my house, I talk to them all the time. Y'all need to find a way to make me some money. Stop playing. Right. And you're not going to go get a job. I don't want my kids to have a job, but you're going to use your talents, your abilities, and you're going to create a way for you to make an income. So everybody in the house has to pull their own weight somehow in some form. Right. As a parent, if you're good at doing this, my job is to help cultivate your talent and figure out a way how you can generate an income doing what you love to do. Right. First of all, doing what you love to do. And if it can make you money, I'm going to help you figure it out. So that's the whole thing of group economics for me is first it starts in the micro level, which is your household. And then Tim's my neighbor. Tim sees my kids like, but he's not really my neighbor. I'm just speaking. If Tim's my neighbor, he's seeing, damn, your kids out here making money. You doing this, you doing that. Then I'm like, yeah, Tim, come through. And I'm going to show you like how your kids can build their own website, how we can do that. Now I'm sharing what I do with my family with his family. And so now we are sharing knowledge and therefore sharing wealth with each other. And I'm going to tell Tim, yo, make sure you pass that information on too. Pass it on to the neighbor next door. And that's how we begin to build that community. Go ahead, Dr. Pierre. I know you hungry for the mic. Go.
I just want to ask Tim a couple questions. Tim, you're a truck driver, right? You're muted. Can someone unmute Tim for me?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I am.
Yeah, okay. I got a couple questions to ask you. Do you own your own truck?
No.
How much is a truck roughly? If you were to buy a good truck that won't break down for the next year.
What I'm doing, I'm not in the big rig. I'm in the hot shot. So about a good one, about 60,000.
60,000. All right. So if let's suppose I were to front you 60 G's now, right? Mm-hmm. And we would buy a truck, right? How much money you figure you can make the first year?
Probably 300,000 easy.
Right. So what Tim just said is on average twice as much as a regular pharmacist, not me, would make, right? And
Mhm.
he's talking about driving truck, being your own owner. Now, obviously, there's going to be some expenses that come with that. You got gas, you got
Mhm.
insurance. You know what I'm saying? Um, a bunch of other things, right? A bunch of other expenses.
So
So
the
after
front end
everything
is
is
gonna be
paid,
a little bit more than the 60.
right? So after everything is paid, Tim, how much you figured you walking away with? If you would have set up an LLC, S corp, and then you had it as a pass through, how much money you figure you gonna walk away with?
You'll probably walk up with like if I'm just doing it by monthly, you probably can probably walk out with about, I would say, 40%, maybe 35 to 40% of the money. So let's say if we basing it off of a $5,000 a week, so 5, 10, so about $20,000 a month. I can probably walk away probably about 8 or 9 thousand, somewhere
All right,
around.
all right. So 8 or 9 thousand. So I
So
once heard what you could what Doctor what's his name again? The finance guy. Um Not Claude Anderson, the other one.
Money, money, money.
Anyway, it'll come to me. The economics guy. Um, he said that if you can find a way to make $6,000 a month without going to college, don't go.
Yep,
He said, don't go.
I agree.
And me and Tim just gave you a way there to make $6,000 a month. Now you can take that more than six. He's saying nine, right? You can bring that back to your community. Now let's note what he just said. You need about 60 to start, right? But it
mm,
doesn't necessarily have to be your own money. You can
yeah,
get
you
that
know,
borrowed. Okay. You can go to the SBA with a business plan and get it borrowed. Okay. So I believe
so
we
we
have
about
to
to get
see,
Tim a truck.
Oh, it's already in the works, bro. It's already in the
right.
works.
We about
We
to
got,
get your second. Hey, no, we about to get you a second truck because I'm gonna need a little bit of that cash too.
hey, shit, man, you ain't
So
saying nothing, my boy. You ain't saying nothing at all.
so what I'm saying is there's more than one. I heard somebody say college. There's more than one way for us to build group economics. We just have
Mhm.
to start thinking, okay, there's got to be other ways to make money. Like Jamari was
Right.
just saying with his kids. How are we doing this? Okay, you
Mhm.
guys, your job, like Jamari is saying, is to every day think, how am I going to make money? I tell my kids every day, it's almost like a chant, right? It's like a prayer. Be your own boss,
Mhm.
right? And so I think once we start, and it's going to come together as a people, once we start
3
individually
trucks.
coming up with a plan to start making money and growing businesses, it is going to come together. That it has no choice but to coalesce, right? So I mean that's where I'm gonna end it there. I got a long day tomorrow, a super long day. So I'll have to catch you guys another day. Jamari, great
Appreciate
topic,
you.
and thanks for letting
We'll,
me on.
hey, we'll talk you. Listen, next time we'll grab some info out that book and we'll talk about that book. I told you, man, you got to do a one-on-one. Talk to
Yeah,
you later.
definitely,
Thanks, Doc.
definitely.
All right,
All right,
Doc.
take it easy. Okay, good night.
Good night.
It kind of piggyback off what a little bit Doc was saying. Trade is a lost art, man. I'll give y'all a quick example. The
Mm.
last job I had before this right here, I was a company called Badfield. They their custom thing was just remodeling bathrooms. Not the whole bathroom, but just the wet area where you take a shower or you tub at. We did remodels on those. That's a trade that paid pretty good, but the main part of that trade outside of construction was plumbing. And so we had to go ahead and get licensed for plumbing to do so. And man, plumbing, man, dude, plumbers make pretty good for themselves. And
Boy,
so, yeah,
heck
buddy,
yeah,
yeah,
they do.
yeah, they make pretty
I
good
hate
for
calling.
themselves.
I hate calling a plumber. When you call the plumber, you know you about to be dropping some
You
bread.
feel the drop stuff,
You about
plump
to
man.
drop some
At a,
bread.
I'm talking about you. Let's say you do a 2-year program, you come out of school by 20, you're a plumber, right? So you get out of 18, you go through the trade as a journeyman, whatever. Come on as apprentice, and you get to the journeyman level. You're already at like $18, $19 at 20 years old. Okay. Now they say that you want to further this and you become a master plumber. That's the top of the line of plumbing you can go. So it takes about 5 years to get there. So counting the 2 years that you already started. So by the time you're 23, you're looking at $100,000 job right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just like it's something like things that we don't look at or that's being de-glamorized for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you got to go to college. No, you don't, man. Trade like this. At least it's not much to start off with.
Electricians, when those come in your house, plumbers and electricians, you just know you about to drop some bread.
About to drop bread.
I don't care.
It's a needed job. You got electricians always going. Skilled labor is always going to be a thing. I don't care if you're doing communications. I don't. Let's say everything started to go wiring, but somebody's still gonna have to set the stuff up. So communication is still a thing. Which I worked in. Communications, plumbing, electrician. Yeah, you could throw the HVAC boys in there that do the. I mean, but those are things that we can actually start businesses in right there because those are needs. So it's kind of like what Doc was saying and what Bo was saying earlier. Find out what's needed, and then you can go from there. But once again, it's like for whatever reason that line of work has got de-glamorized. Oh man, I don't want. You can see folks talking, I don't want nobody working all hard and stuff. But man, it's money to be made there.
And Tim, I like what Doc did because it's actually a point that I was telling my brother, and it's about the whole boss concept, right? So I tell people it's like my brother does videography, right? So he meets a person that say they do photography, and my brother has a bigger vision. Say, yo, let's come together and put together a media company, right? Because I'm doing videography, you're doing photography. Let's come together and build something bigger. But what the boss mentality is, the photographer may not even be on that. He may be like, man, I'm just out here doing my own thing. I don't want to do that. He can't see the bigger picture. You get what I'm saying? But again, that group economics says, damn, Tim's over here, got a truck. He working on getting his own truck. How can I facilitate? You know, maybe I don't have the bigger vision, but how can I facilitate him getting a truck, one truck, then getting two trucks? Now we got a trucking company. Right? So if we invest in each other, if you got a skill, I know you got the skill. Let's say Bo went and got an HVAC. I'm like, okay, well, shoot, you already certified. Let's see if we can build a company around your certification.
Bingo.
How we gonna make it work? Let's do numbers. Tim been driving long enough where he can start just giving numbers. Okay, you're gonna need this when you start. I know how much gas. Most of the money is being made out west over here, doing over here. We're gonna be on the road. He's starting to break down the numbers. The other person is working on the business plan. Group economics, right? But we don't see it like that. Like you said, I may be jealous of what Tim doing. Tim driving a truck, he already making money. Why I'm gonna help him make more money?
Well, that's where the solutions is you can like be self-oriented, not selfish, right? But self-oriented, which is me and not you. Selfish you
Collins,
and not me.
Collins, you on that bow. You on that bow stuff today, boy. You on that bow. I gotta mute you right now, man. Come out and come back in, King. Come out and come back in. You frozen. Go ahead. Okay. Go ahead, Bo. Go ahead.
I wanted to say something about the boss mentality. Okay, first of all, a boss works for somebody. I don't know where people think a boss is the top of the food chain. You work for somebody. That's what a boss is. You work for somebody. You're ahead of somebody, yes, but there's somebody over you.
Yeah,
that's for one.
I wanted to say that in that video I put out the other day. Somebody had made a comment, but I wanted to say like most bosses, because when we're talking about like large company, there is no boss. You have the CEO,
right?
He's not even the boss. The board of directors are the boss. The board of directors are the boss because you got shareholders, right? Most people who call themselves bosses are just managers.
Bingo.
Just managers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They can't, they're just managers. Hamilton, what you got? What you had to say?
I ain't got nothing, man. I ain't got nothing, man. I'll listen to all y'all, man. I'll listen to all
Man,
y'all.
you the stock, you the investor guy. You the one who took $400 in the stock market and made $20,000 in doggone less than 6
God
months.
dog,
Come on,
hell
man.
yeah.
He's gonna be
I already
trying to be quiet.
said.
Did
I
he
Come
put
on,
all
already
your
said that.
business out there like that?
Oh,
He said the investment.
all right. Oh, sorry, I'm back. Okay. So what I was saying is, define. We got to be more self-oriented. The solution to that scenario of like being jealous and envious and all that stuff like that, the solution is to be self-oriented. So selfish, it means me and not you. Selfless means you and not me. And then self-oriented is me first and then you. Right. So if you start looking first, hey, how am I going to benefit? Like, how would I win if I gave Tim $5,000 to go towards his thing? How do I win in that scenario? Ask yourself those questions, right? If you ask, how do I win? How am I affected if I buy all my stuff at Walmart? How am I affected, right? How is me first am I affected? Like, it's not about stopping Walmart from doing what Walmart is doing. It's about doing what's best for you first and then others, right? You first and then others. And that's where you get out of that toxic space, because you don't want to go to the space of a polar opposite insecurity compensation and start being all about the community and not about yourself, because then you'll have a whole bunch of people take advantage of you, which is what really has people recluse back into that self, and then not realizing I'm gonna start now giving back to all of the big Bilderberg groups, the evil people, which Jamari don't want me to call them evil, but I'm gonna say they're evil because they're behind most of the atrocities on this earth. So I call them evil because it's them that's behind all of that sex trafficking. It's them that's behind all of that stuff. These elite people that got billions of dollars that they tired of buying,
all right.
votes.
You
know what I'm
better
saying?
you
So
better
how
get
you
back
can
on
really
track. Get back on track.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, how does that affect me? What do you want your kids to grow up in a safer neighborhood? Like me first. I want my kids to grow up in a safer neighborhood, so I'm not going to support all of these companies that are not necessarily supporting my
But
people, right?
Collins, I want you to pay attention to this though.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes doing it that way
Uh-huh.
doesn't work when it pertains to if I have a bookstore down the street. That's how Amazon ran everybody out of business. Amazon had a policy to sell books for under $10, $9.99. Right? So
Right.
I go to what was the other big bookstore? Borders.
Barnes and Noble.
No, not Barnes and Noble still around. Borders closed down because of Amazon. Because Amazon did. So you go to Borders, which is one of your local places. You can sit down and read a book. Everybody who reads books knows this is why Barnes and Noble is still around, because they still have that feeling of sitting down, chilling, reading a book, right?
Right.
But Barnes and Nobles may have that book for $14, and Amazon may have it $9.99. And now Amazon got the little fast shipping. I can get it same day or next day.
Uh-huh.
Right. So in actuality, like, well, what benefits me? If I say what benefit, well, I'm trying to save some money. Shoot, I was on everything frugal. They told me to live below my means. So let me go ahead and get the book for $9.99. And Jamari's store is selling the book for $14. And this is what happens, because I'm telling you, just for me selling furniture, right?
Yeah.
This is what happens. People say, well, I always could undercut anybody, but they may say, well, you know what? I want to get it over here because I can get it a few dollars cheaper than buying it from him, and it's $10 more. So sometimes you do got to sacrifice that $10 for the greater good.
Yeah. I mean, like, everything has got to be within reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, because in reality, whatever you buy from wherever, these companies own everything. So even if you buy your own land, like the homie was saying before, like, hey, you buy your own land, you buying it from them. Like, it's either going to be owned by BlackRock, by this thing or that thing. Everything is owned by the same 13 families, everything. So you, at some point in time, you're going to be lending it. But the point is, to as much as possible, just make it a part of your daily thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't have to, and when you're doing a health journey, you don't have to be like the buffest, doing all of the macros and the micros and all that stuff. You don't have to do all of that. You can just look, what can I do today? What can I work on today that's going to benefit me and mine? Like me and my people that's around. So it doesn't mean that you never buy anything from Walmart. I mean, you ain't got to break the bank, you know what I'm saying? In order to do it. But it's one of those scenarios where you could always make a deal. You know, so like in that scenario, you're talking about Borders or Barnes and Nobles or Amazon. All of these are big old people. Like these are all big giant companies. They're not. Neither one of them companies are benefiting you, right? They're not giving back to the community. So one of the ideas that I had when we was on here is like, okay, what can we start doing as a community, right? One is use our buying power for protest, I should say, right? Not protest, like just like for the sake of protest, but like, hey, listen, if you a black woman and you want to get your hair done, right? Do not go to any store owned by people that hate you.
Well, she ain't getting her hair done.
Right? So, because there are people that are, you know, that are willing to do your hair that's in your community, right? And the reason why we don't go to them is because let's say they're not professional, whatever. That's because we are literally like we're products of our ancestry. We inherit the blessings and the curses from our families. But one of the things we can do is like say, hey, listen, before I cancel you, how about I communicate with you what the situation is, what the problem is, and I gotta. You want your business to be better. I want my hair to be done by someone that supports my people, and I also want you to grow, but I also don't want you showing up late. So I would like you to go talk to Jamare, and I know somebody that does business, and he has a master class on making your business be great. Go over here. I recommend you go over to him. Take some classes up your business so that you can keep me as a customer because I don't want to lose. I don't want you to lose me as a customer. I want to support you. All right. And so if we do it from that space, if we come to like, I'm coming to support you, right? I want to support you. I will let people know nowadays, right? Before, and this is me, I'm letting y'all know that this is me. This is how I operated. If you didn't rock with me, I canceled you immediately, excommunicated, you're banished from my kingdom, you're done. And I wouldn't give any opportunities, right? I wouldn't give people opportunities like, hey, listen, before I, done this deal and I stopped working with you, these are the things that I would like you to do. These are the things that I would like you to see. Like, these are the things I want to change. These are things I want to see. Let's implement this, or this is something, blah, blah, blah. Before we do that, I let them know that that's the scenario. This is why cancel culture is working so well. People don't like it, but why it's working so well to change certain business practices. Because people are like, oh, snap. Well, if people get on TikTok and they talk about my business and enough people talk about it, maybe nobody goes to Starbucks anymore. And then Starbucks is done because a billion people say, you know what? No, we're not supporting no people that are trafficking, kids in the back room, right? So these are the kind of scenarios that we can utilize our individual power to share. Like, hey, when you got a bad situation, when you're working with a company, you get a bad experience, tell everybody about it. Tell people about it. Like, go on and use that cancel culture because that is what makes them change. They don't care about us. They care about money. So that's how you can be you first and them. Like, okay, you still want to keep our business, then this is how you got to treat us. This is what you got to do. What do you invest in? Do you invest in our companies? Do you do like divesting and investing? We can start divesting from those big companies that we don't necessarily like and investing in the mom and pops. Work to people in your community that you know are still rocking with you. And like I said in the comments, it ain't necessarily black people working with black people. It's not white people working with white people or Jewish people working with Jewish people, because all of us are on that bottom part of the pyramid, not the elite. We not them. All of us are down there. So if you get other people that believe what you believe, they rocking with you in your philosophy, they're like about community development, whoever they are, but do that checklist. Don't automatically give away your money. Don't automatically give away your resources. Come up with a checklist. Like, ask a few questions. Like, hey, what are you up to? Like, me personally, like, if you believe in God, I'll rock with you first. That you pass the first step. If you don't believe in God, well, then now we have a different conversation. Well, what do you believe in? Because if you try to be an enemy of me, then I'm not gonna rock with you. I'm not gonna give you my money. I'm gonna give it to somebody else. I'm not gonna give you my time or my energy or my resources. I'm gonna give it to somebody else. All right. Okay. So and whatever your criteria is, it could change from person to person, right? But that's what we can do as individuals, really start to shift that by looking at me first and then others. Because if you look at yourself first, a lot of money you wouldn't be spending in a lot of these establishments, because we're not even paying attention to ourselves. And that's why we spend so much bread, and we're gonna have the money to go and do the fun things like the retreats that we're putting on and stuff like that, because you're spending your money on McDonald's. And you're not buying, food at home. You're having your grocery or doing whatever you got to do. And the reason why you have to do that, because you got to spend so much time at work. You don't want to cook. Well, if you get your family together, get your peoples together, and everybody contributes a little bit. Maybe you get somebody in the squad that can cook. That's it. That's all she do. She comes in, she cooks. That's it. And then what does she get in exchange? Well, every time she needs plumbing at her crib, well, Tim comes in and does plumbing. You know, and that's how you can do it. Like, start asking questions to people around you. What are your gifts?
That's called the barter system.
Yep, you can do that too. And
that's part of frugal. That's part of being frugal. The barter system is a tool that most people do not utilize that they should.
If you can't pay for it, see if you can trade for it.
Yeah, like for instance, say I have a garden and I produce vegetables, and Jamari has a cow and he produced milk. Okay, I give you my vegetables if you give me your milk, right?
Yep.
Now neither one of us shopping at Walmart because I get my milk from him and he get my vegetables from him. So let's say Hamilton, he's a butcher and he's butchering, so he gets milk from Jamari and he gets vegetables from me. Now 3 of us ain't going to Walmart because we're getting what we need from each other, and we're getting it cheaper. But and then also I like to tell people too, like you need to start thinking outside your box. Go straight to the farmers instead of going to Walmart paying for organic, which you're just paying because it says organic and you're paying higher. I can go straight to a farmer and say, are you using pesticides? Are you doing this? You come to my farmer and whatever. Okay, well, I want to buy straight from you.
Yeah, ask those questions.
Because I absolutely know that, it's that way. You're going to come out cheaper than you are going to go to Walmart and buying something that says organic. People make a lot of financial decisions that they don't realize is not benefiting them at all. Go to your local, there's things locally that you can get that could be more beneficial and cheaper for you financially.
Yeah, go ahead, Hammer. All right, hold on. Go ahead, Hammer. You done stepped up to the mic like you about to say something.
Yeah, so there's a guy on YouTube. He has a Cane Corso. That's one of the next dogs I want to get, right? And they eat a lot, right? Those are big dogs. They eat a lot. And so what he does is he actually goes to a local farmer and takes all of their meat scraps that they have and buys it for pennies on the dollar for his dog, right? And there are these things, and you don't have to think just with food. Like, for instance, Hammer, like what Jamari said before. Hey, Hammer is a videographer. Well, I'm a freaking relationship guru. Let me shoot a video and let me hire Hamilton, right? And then for Hammer, I can say, hey man, any services that I have, I'll give you the services for free, or I'll give you a discount. You give me a discount on yours. And so that can help you if you don't have a lot of capital. And if you have some capital, then spend your bread with your people, and get out of that, that individualist. I would say that Israelite, mentality, which is 12 brothers hating on one because he got a little bit more shine than somebody else.
Definitely,
still fall to that.
Here's the thing about the barter system. The barter system it works to a degree.
Yeah,
right?
to a degree.
Yeah.
And that's why I think when me and Hamilton and Collins was it was spring, around spring, we heavily into cryptos. This is one of the reasons why you have to begin thinking about creating your own form of currencies within your community, because the barter system gets complicated. Because if Bo got oranges, Collins got mangoes, and I got bananas, and I'm trying to sell bananas to Collins mangoes and trade, but Collins doesn't like mangoes because he's allergic to mangoes. But Collins wants Bo's oranges, but Bo doesn't like Collins mangoes. So now I got to figure out how to get sell some bananas to Bo to get it gets complicated. Nobody wants what each other wants, and then it's like, is 2 bananas worth 1 mango? You know what I'm saying? So that's where the barter system gets kind of complicated.
Yeah.
In a simplistic form, yes, it works to a certain degree. And Bo talking about the farmer's market works as well. But if I don't know the farmer, it doesn't help me as far as group economics. The money's going to that farmer, and the farmer's taking that money. He's doing whatever he wants to do it. I don't even know him or his family. You get what I'm saying? So now we need to get somebody within wherever neighborhood you're in, and you know that farmer. That's when it begins to actually benefit the community. Now,
But that's what I was talking about, getting to know. You should. That's why I said the farmer. You ask the farmer, and
yeah,
you go and you tour, and you looking at it, and you know. Then you're making. Yes, I want to invest in you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was
That's
saying you
that
get
criteria.
to
You
know the
take
people
but
in your
what if he?
community.
But again, when we and I guess it goes back to what Colin's saying is, and what you're saying is, what are you getting? Not only just buying his product,
yeah
what is he doing for the
for
community?
for my people. Like,
Like,
what's up?
what are you doing? Like, if I stay in Sunrise and I go to the farmers market in freaking
Daniel or something.
plantation or
Yeah.
you know, what are you doing? Do you donate to a charity in my
Right.
neighborhood? Do you have kids that go to the school in this neighborhood, or am I just buying you something and it's going to the plantation neighborhood and not the Sunrise neighborhood, right? So these are the things that we got to think about because the money is steadily leaving. So
Yeah.
I got to get to know. I like me and Hamza was saying, like me doing his loan. Everybody should know somebody. Boom, I know a loan officer. I got a realtor. Why? Because I know people in real estate are extremely shady. People in
Yep.
real estate, there's a lot of people in real estate that don't want to do their jobs, right? And so they're just trying to do the most simplistic form of real estate so they can make the most amount of money, and then they're gonna put you in a very bad deal. To this day, when I first bought my house, I knew nothing about real estate. I thought my realtor was a good realtor until I got into real estate and realized that dude was horrible. And he didn't care. He didn't care about nothing. He just cared about making a damn dollar, right? And so that's why it's like, yo, as a loan officer, I'm quick to tell somebody like, hey, so I'm looking to make some money. And do some, hey, do you care about people? Do you care about helping people? Yeah, I can.
Questions,
Hey,
homie.
you should look into becoming a realtor.
Yeah.
Why? Because you can help people and you get to learn something that you're going to need to know eventually if you want to buy a house, right? So it behooves you, one, you get to help people buy homes, and two, when you come to buy your home, you can keep more money in your pocket and you know the system, right? So I'm always telling people like, hey, you don't have to be a realtor. You can be a title agent. You don't have to be a title agent. You could be an insurance agent. You can do this. Why? Because again, when me and Hamilton was doing this deal, I happened to know a guy that helped me with the deal before. So I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and reach back to him because this other guy who's actually outside of my community, I don't really know him like that. He never done anything for me before, and he's giving me and Hamilton a runaround. Let me go back and hit this guy. And guess what? He did what the other guy got into in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Why? Why? Because he was invested in the referral. He's like, oh, shoot, I invested. I know this guy did some work with him before. Let me make sure I attend to this client that he sent me over.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So
use your buying power, man. Leverage your
we're
buying.
gonna continue to talk about this because you remember, like the whole thing. Look at what's up, Jay boy. You late, man. We already an hour and 22 minutes in. This is a young student of mine from back in the day. Colin, I think I showed you his music video.
Okay. Yeah,
He's a very smart kid, a little knucklehead, but he's still a smart kid. That definitely want to help out and build a community around. And this is why I created the online cookout. Why? Because I want to get everybody together. That's why I had the Flaunt Fridays in the thing, so people can promote their businesses on a specific day without flooding the whole thing and like turning it into a freaking spam fest. You know what I'm saying? But people can promote what they're doing so we can see within the online cookout community, right? Who's doing what and how can we help them, right?
Yeah.
That is one of the main purposes of building this type of community where we can have these discussions about these things and continue to build upon this because we're gonna revisit this buying Tim a truck thing. So Tim, you're gonna have to start breaking some of this stuff down.
It's coming already, bro.
Anyway we can support Tim. That's what we gonna do. All right. Did anybody got any last words? Because like I said, we didn't even get to the nitty gritty on it. This me and Colin had a whole little thing on the side, but we didn't even get into it. Like we could get into it.
Yeah.
But this is like again, this is the intro phase of what we're going to be talking about, building group economics. I already know Dr. Pierre gonna come in and start breaking down how to get your business started, how to get the taxes thing. Because I tell people all the time, like even if you have a business that doesn't turn over a dime, you're still going to be better off than a person who's working on it, has a we call a W-2 employee, because you get write-offs that W-2 employees don't get utilized. So even if your business, if you open up an LLC S corp and that thing don't make no money, you still going to save more money than somebody who doesn't have one. Period. Point blank. Every time I buy software, every time I have a website, and that's all tax write-offs for me, all of it. So, and then when I buy this program StreamYard and get rid of that they branding on the side, guess what? That's a write-off. It's definitely, that's part of it. I put that right there to my wife for the tax person. I'm still let me see what he's talking about. So anybody got any last words before we go?
Kind of. Go ahead, Collins. Go ahead, bro.
My last thing would just be to start compiling a list of questions, the things that you care about, so that you know what kind of questions to start asking your companies that you're going to support, because it's your money power. You know what I'm saying? And then also make a list of things that you want in life. Like, hey, you want to travel more, you want to own a house, you want to whatever. Make a list of those things, and then head over to Everything Frugal, so that you can start putting away them dollars and them pennies, so that they actually add up. Because you don't need to make more money in order to have more money. You got to spend, and then you gotta use that money that you're saving for the purposes that you really want to make your life better. So, anyways, that's all I want to say for that. And I'm
about to say you're not gonna plug in the discovery thing, because you was okay. Go ahead.
My bad. And start working on yourself. So come through to my TikTok at Jack Trades 4.
Your TikTok.
Come to my TikTok. It's Jack Trades 4. I'll be doing live things on there. Get some coaching so you can get ready for this retreat that we're doing. So y'all can come through and start building that family, man. Build that economic family. It ain't gonna be just you being, changing the world. It ain't gonna happen. You gotta work with your peoples, and it takes skills to be able to develop those relationships, and then keep those relationships, and then grow them relationships. So I'll teach you all them skills. Jamar will teach you them skills. We got other great people that are going to be teaching you skills, and you're going to be having fun. And if you want to learn something about a little bit of polyamory, you know what I'm saying? Get your little second wife, your second husband, your brother, sister, or whatever. Or even, just your kids, getting your kids employed by your family and all that stuff like that. So figure out how to make that work. So yeah, come through.
I'm down with the second, third, and fourth wife. I'm down with that. And on that note, we are going to mute Collins. Go ahead, Bo.
I just want to say, please take the time to educate yourself on how to live a more sustainable life where you don't have to live off of anyone else. That's very important. My motto for the week is, I do not endorse anything that is not paying me. I've seen a trend where people are always talking about different brands and bopping up brands. You bopping up these brands and they're not paying you. You don't have an endorsement for them or anything. That's free. That's called free advertisement. Stop doing that. That's financially, you're hurting yourself. If I endorse you, you're paying me.
Hold on. Let me see what J Boy talking about. We got to start a marketing group. Listen, J Boy, I already told you, my brother does videography as a media group. I told you got to do. Make sure I send you that link to the online cookout. I don't know if you're on Facebook, but if not, then I'll send you another link when you get into the our WhatsApp group. Tim, break it down, because we gonna get Tim. Tim got to start telling us more what he up to. He up here. He up here building empires in the dark over there, and I.
Oh man, the recap, man.
Let's recap.
The three things, man. The envy, convenience, responsibility. I think those are three things that's holding us back from group economics. We work on those. I think we have to get that under control first to be like, okay, if in order to do this, I need to be responsible. I cannot be jealous, and I have to be a little bit patient because in order to make this thing grow, I need those things to happen before we can move anything else. The second thing is the kind of to me this goes in with it. It's an African proverb: if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, go together. So we as people that want to start something, we want to do this thing and make it big, build it big. We have to do that together. It was something else I wanted to get on, but those were the main two things I just definitely wanted to hit, man. Those three things for building the community, though, for building the group economics. Oh yeah, another thing Doc touched on it. I was talking about the Jewish will look for somebody else that's Jewish before they outsource their money. I heard a stat, man, a few years ago that was like if a Jewish person get $1, that dollar will bounce around in the neighborhood about 12 times before it leaves. And so if the Asian gets $1, that dollar will bounce around about an average of 8 times before it leaves. If somebody Caucasian gets $1, it will probably bounce around about 5 times before it leaves. Us as African Americans or African descent, it don't take one time. As soon as we get it, it's out. It's gone. As soon as we get it, like I get a hammer about some shoes, that it's going over there. A half from about this food is going over there. It's not staying in the community, but somebody else can benefit off that currency. Because currency is current. It has to move within for everybody to get fed. And
you up here dropping these, man, you getting muted for dropping all these doggone nuggets back to back to back. Get muted. That man dropping nuggets. Hamilton, what's up?
Nah, man, we just gotta be smart with our finances, man. You can't help the community if you can't manage your own money. Like you can't help anybody. So first you gotta manage your own finances and get to a position where you can take advantage of investments, take advantage of helping, because you can't help nobody else if you can't help yourself. You ain't got your own house in order. How you gonna help somebody else's house? So manage your money, get your funds up, save to invest. Don't just have them sitting in the savings account, because the savings account ain't got no.
Say that one more time, man.
Save to invest. Gotta save to invest. The savings account these days, the percentage is meek. So save it and invest in somebody else's business. Invest in the stock market. Invest in crypto market. Invest in real estate. There's all kind of avenues you can go to put your money in. One of them, you can put them in all of them.
Or you can just give it to me. All right? Just give me your money.
Or that's part of the community. You open the community.
It's a million people out there. Everybody just send me $1. Send me 50 cents. I'll take 50 cents. You know. All right. Hey, I appreciate everybody for coming on once again. On the online cookout. We're gonna keep on building, doing our thing. Make sure y'all if you're in the building, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Listen, liking ain't supporting. I appreciate it. That's what's up. Commenting, it ain't supporting. I appreciate it. What's up? When you share that damn thing, though, that's when you're taking it to the next level. Share it. Share that information. Share that knowledge, because we're gonna keep dropping this info on you. Tim gonna keep coming in here, dropping them random nuggets on you. All right. I appreciate everybody for being here. This online cookout. We are out of here. Peace, family.